for me to, sometimes it's really hard for me to put into words what movies can do for us and how they can make us understand each other. And it's such a privilege to be working with Christy and all the rest of the folks on this festival, because every year when I do this, and it goes throughout the year. When I first saw this movie, I believe I asked Lauren for it to be in. I'm not quite sure how it got in, but I know that I had seen it early in the process and I've been thinking about it. And, you know, Warren, I just want to pay my respects to you for the ability to bring so many disparate elements together and to create an atmosphere that would allow for this kind of message to be delivered properly, in such an amazing way. And the score is an incredible part of that. And so I want to thank you for your patience. I'm not getting the whole clip done, but there is so much to see in this movie. So I'm gonna now segue into Heba, Melody Mokhtari's clip, which she was in my opinion, the glue that kept the families together in this movie, both in just, because she was able to appeal to Mac's character, to Mac as a child. So she didn't have the sort of, the assumptions that we sometimes put upon our, sort of people our age. So it was, and she's just an incredible actress. It's been a long time since I've seen someone with her depth, especially in the one particular scene where she's first describing what magic means to her to Mac by the horses. I was just astounded at the way she carried that. So anyway, I'm gonna play that clip now. I don't know if that's the exact clip, but this is her in the movie. Oh yes, it is. Okay, here we go.
You got away with them.
I just talk to them.
Talk?
Yes. Like you talk to Beth. I've seen you talking to her.
Really?
You believe in magic?
Well, it depends.
On what?
I mean, sometimes it seems as if there's nothing left except magic when things are going not so well. Others might call it religion.
Do you pray like we pray?
What?
Do you pray like we pray?
I don't know how you people pray.
As Same way you people do. We just ask for things.
Well, like what?
Well, every day I pray. I want all wars to stop. If I could find a formula to stop people hurting each other, I'd use it right away. Right now.
How old are you?
12. I would ask for my father to come here. For my grandparents back. My grandpa was your age. Sometimes, I think just praying isn't enough. So I'm looking for the right magic formulas to change things, to make things better.
What kind of formula?
I'm collecting things that I find. Words, rocks, air, anything. It's the right combination. This is a formula that I've been working with.
What is it?
Just stuff I find on the ground. Air from different places. I like to open it at night or in the morning. Capture the light, the darkness. There's good dark air up in the attic closet.
Does it work?
Not yet. Someday.
So, magic can happen in movies too, especially when you have so many different elements that you've collected, rocks and air and nails and buttons and things. There's a book called The Way of the Shaman, and it's teaches about this process where people who are healers go throughout the this is from the American, the northern, the Turtle Island population of Indians, but indigenous people, excuse me, but they collect things and they ingest them, little bits of them, so they have the power of those things inside of them, and that's what becomes the healing aspect of it. So this jar motif that you're using for both Mac and Heba is pretty incredible and cool. And so I really think that this movie needs to be seen by a much wider audience, and I'm so proud that we have been able to screen it this for the rest of the week as well. So anybody who will eventually watch this or who's watching it now, you should definitely make it your first choice when you come to our festival. Warren, I have a question. How do you feel that your original thoughts on the story have changed or have been enhanced through the process of learning about these wonderful people you've got to work with? And I also, you just have to make a huge nod to the sound recordist and the cinematographer, because to be there for these things the way they are, like just for example, the one shot in the last clip where the camera person, where the director of photography, whose name escapes me, is standing there and he's got a single shot on her and he's keeping the horses in there, and he's got the sun shaft coming in and he's holding that shot. You can just feel the tension that he's keeping inside of him so he can capture that and so he can be there for it. So it's incredible, really is. So,
his name was Wes Legg.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah, Wes shot our last film, April and Autumn,
and I worked with him in television when I was directing television. So we had a already established working sort of vocabulary. But Wes films a lot of documentaries, and so he has this real respect for real people and understanding how to just let the camera be close to real people without intruding too much. And we talked about that. So even though Greg and Aisha and Melody and Ahmed are such beautiful actors, they're also real people. And Wes, the goal was always to capture the essence of Greg and Aisha and Ahmed and Melody and Caitlin and all the other wonderful actors. So when you asked what was my journey from the beginning in terms of where I started with the characters to where they ended up, the journey was really, the characters on page are one thing, but when you get in the field and you start working with these wonderful actors and getting to know them, it's their flesh and blood and soul that you are exploring together. It's a huge element of trust. So the journey from character was from page to then what each of them brought, Aisha and Greg and the others, to the camera, to Wes's lens, to Dave Draper's sound recordings, and Dan Gratton shared some shared sound recording roles. And it was, the impulse was always to film a fictional film like a very intimate documentary. And the actors knew that too, like when in discussing with them, and if there's time, a little bit of time left, maybe they can talk about the early process, how we spent a few days rehearsing first. And we didn't necessarily rehearse scenes. We just rehearsed getting to know each other, kind of.
Well, for example,
and me observing them.
Yeah, well, for example, the scene in the corral with Melody, that's got to be a very challenging experience for all concerned, because you have horses, you have an enclosed space, you have a certain quality of light that you need to capture at that moment. That's a specific time of day that you have to get that into the camera. And you have Melody just really taking her time with the scene and really just giving it beats between her vocalizations, which really added so much to the scene. I just think that was pretty incredible. So, it seems like there's a very strong, there was a very strong element of understanding between everybody that was, sort of really precious during things like that. And so I just want to commend you guys on that work, because that is very much work. It's very hard to get. It's very hard to do that. And to add to that the score, which is fairly incredible. You have a really strong piece. Now there's one actress who's not with us because she's on set, and that's Caitlin Spoonheimer, who you've worked with before. She plays Loretta, and she begins the process of putting the pieces together in the beginning of the movie. She's sort of the original connection between Mac and Mac's family, and which is her and Mac and Layla's family. So I'm going to play a clip with her, and then we will close the show. Just a moment here.
It smells so good. I didn't know that jasmine grows here in Canada.
Yeah,
It's our national flower in Syria.
it's my mom's favorite flower. She's a real gardener. Grew everything under the sun. And a real cook.
Mm.
She cooked in the town hospital for 25 years.
Wow.
People used to say she kept more people alive with her cooking than the doctors did with their medicine. She passed away a month ago.
I'm really sorry.
That's okay.
Are you married, husband?
Separated. He lives in town.
Any children?
No, I get my hit of kids from teaching. I teach in the city now because the school shut down here. Only gig I could find.
So far,
It is. But when you step outside and you see the mountains and the fields, the horses, just something that gets in your blood.
I understand. We grew up in the country. We moved to Aleppo when we were teenagers. The city was easier for our parents. They had their own business, an Arabian ice cream shop.
Really? Ice cream.
Yes.
Is it still open?
No, it's gone.
Your parents.
Here you go.
Oh, wow. Look at those. They're beautiful.
Well, I got more work to do.
There goes some Fred.
Hello.
So, yeah, she's great. She's super great. So, I'm curious, the moment Aisha, in the scene where you put extra sugar in each person's coffee, that's not something I've seen commonly done. Is that something that's traditional, or is that something that, how did you, I mean, did that come to you just as was it part of the direction, or was that something you just did?
Yeah, it was one of, you're so good. I mean, I'm like so mind blown. Like, I'm so honored to like be sitting with you, like all those observations. Oh my God.
You're making me blush.
Thank you. Caitlin is such a beautiful actor, is that because it wasn't there, but I intuitively felt, because in the culture that when you have something for yourself, you immediately have to share, you know, with other people. So I'm like, and who doesn't want sugar? So here you go. I have to. And even in the Persian culture, they have, I can't remember the word now, but you keep offering until somebody really like,
yeah. No, it felt so authentic. It felt so real, and obviously it was.
Yeah.
I'd like to offer each of you the opportunity to just, you know, if you have something that you wanted to remember, you know, or something that just really made you feel good about the process, anything. It could be an anecdote on the set, it could be something, but I'm just going to offer that for each of you if you'd like to say it. I'm going to put Warren on the spot. I'm going to let you start so that other folks can think if they've got something they wanted to say.
My note, my memory of the film is the process of it, and working with all the amazing collaborators in front of the camera, behind the camera, the agencies. I mean, it was a long process, but it was a life journey. And as I journeyed deeper, I wanted to convey that with all these wonderful people that came together around it.
Yeah, fantastic work, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Excuse me, Greg, Aisha, or Suad? Or if it's okay if you don't have anything you want to say.
Well, there's a lot of moments that I keep cherished in my heart. There was one moment though, as Aisha and I, went through the process of getting to know one another and getting comfortable with one another, and just like our characters in the movie, and I got quite comfortable driving that old behemoth truck that I had. So they needed to drive back to the where we were staying, and she jumped in the truck with me, and we drove in the dusk over the country roads, just her and me. And I felt so much like Mac and her had kind of come together as Greg and Aisha and as Mac and Layla. It was a fantastic moment. The only thing I regret is I talked too much. I didn't let the moment just ride itself out in that behemoth truck with the beautiful Albertan dusk falling around us.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys. The way that you portrayed the environment and the atmosphere was of Alberta was pretty incredible, and I know that they do great things for filmmakers. So, Aisha, anything? No, okay. And Suad?
Yes, I would actually, I do want to thank Warren for including me in this incredible team and for really truly honoring my culture, because this is not a typical film about Syrians. We don't know what religion this Syrian family is. We don't know, it's not what Syrians are typically portrayed as in the media. So I want to thank him for this sensitivity and his extensive research. And I want to thank the cast for their incredible acting. And I also want to thank Warren for actually, so aside from the score, Warren made it a point to license songs from contemporary Arab and Syrian musicians, things that you hear on the radio or in the sequence when Aisha and Melody leave the car and come back. And he was extremely careful about giving exposure to these independent Arab artists and showcasing them in the best way possible. And this is, again, something that you rarely see. So not only was he careful about all the aspects of the film, which go on one hand, but also in what songs he chose, the source music, and where these came from. So all in all, this was a dream project, and I do hope we work again together. And it was such an honor to be part of this incredible life journey, as Warren said.
Well, I have to say, on behalf of Christy and the rest of our team at FAFf, it's an honor to show your movie. It's an honor to present Jasmine Road to our audience around the world. And we thank you very much for being here with us today. We really, really have enjoyed it. And we think the world of the film. So here's to, getting it out there and getting a lot of more people to see it, because it deserves all of the accolades that it will get, hopefully. So I bid you both all good afternoon, a good evening, and have yourself a wonderful day. And Warren, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Yuri, and thank you to the Fine Arts Festival for supporting our work and our message of love and hope.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Everybody, peace. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.